Hey juniors, welcome to week 8. This will be your bonus video for your activity prompt, which was composed of 3, potentially 4 parts if you wanted to do the bonus. But at any time that I'm walking through, feel free to pause and follow along, or you can watch the whole video, or you can just stop watching it now if you would like. But I'll walk through everything and try to explain as much as possible for you. So right here I have the activity prompt pulled up, and I have my Eclipse pulled up. To get started, as usual, we're going to start with a PyDev project. I'm going to call this week 8. And I am going to now create the PyDev module, which is our actual Python file. The name will be conditionals. Finish. Okay. Now we can start. So here we are. For part 1, we are doing a voting age. We're creating a conditional statement with a variable called age, and we are setting the age to different values. And if the age is greater than 18, it will print off you can vote. So to start this, first I'm going to show you this cool and handy dandy thing for commenting that I did not show you yet before. Before we were using 3 of these single quotes for commenting, but now we're going to use a pound symbol or a hashtag symbol. It's a lot less typing for you. So part 1, voting age. So first we have to define what we want to happen in this. We're going to define, we have a variable called age, and age is going to be a number. We're going to give that number a variable. Variable will be x. You can put in anything you want realistically, but I'm going to use x. X is quite classic. In the question, I did capitalize if, signifying that it potentially has an if statement. If x is greater than 18, we're going to give it a colon. These are instructions. It is going to print you can vote. And then because the instructions only tell you an if statement, you don't have to include an else. There is a little bit of controversial argument on this, that like if you use if, you should also have an else statement, but I wouldn't include else if it's not necessary for the program. Like if it's additional work that's not necessary, I would just not include it. So for this example, there was only an if asked, and I'm only going to include an if. Underneath, we need to give age a number so that we can test this. So I'm 22. I'm going to put in 22. And we're going to go ahead and run this program. Remember, when you're first running the program, you're going to have to run as Python run, just the first time. And so underneath, I'm 22. I can vote. Yay. Part 1 done. I'm going to do part 2 now. Same setup. Part 2. This one is called monkey faces. So up here with the define, you are kind of giving an empty equation with variables. Down here you are defining the variable, so if you wanted to change it to 16, you would change the number in here. I believe that nothing will print off because we don't have an else. It would only print off if the number was greater than 18. Okay, for part 2, monkey faces, you have a program with 2 monkeys called Bananas and Grode. The monkeys can smile or not be smiling. If both of them are smiling, we will print we are in trouble, else we can print that we can escape. So first, again, we need to define what it is we're doing. We're going to call it monkey faces. Oops. When you are defining these, it is one word with no spaces. That's why I capitalized the F. So we have bananas, one monkey underscore if he's smiling, and then the other variable is if Grode is smiling. So in this project, you are going to have to remember back to Boolean logic. We are going to decide whether bananas is smiling, true or false, and then if Grode is smiling, true or false. So that's why they're the variables in the parentheses. Now in our if statements, if bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S, bananas smile, and so if these are true, we are going to have it print we are in trouble. We are in trouble. Ooh. Okay. In this case, we do have an else, which was the print that we can escape. And then after we have defined what it is we're trying to do, we need to put in for the variables if they are true or false. So, monkey faces, we have true and true. So if they're both true, then we are in trouble. We are in trouble. If they are true and false, then we can escape, like so. The next part 3, are the open seats. You have 4 different seats. You check whether or not the seat is open. This is similar to back at kickoff when I showed you the video with Tim and Moby. So we are going to do part 3. Part 3, open seats. So I'm still going to use define, and I think this would be like an example where define really does help. So we have our seats. We have seat 1, seat 2, seat 3, seat 4. And then, so this one's a little longer because we're checking each of these variables to see if they are open or available. And to do that, we're going to use some binaries, some zeros and ones. So we're going to start off with seat 1. If seat 1 is equal to 0, meaning that there's no one there, then we'll print off first seat open. And then because we're going to do this for each of the variables, we're going to use else if. Else if seat 2 is equal to 0. We're going to repeat this for each of them. And then we're going to do another else if. Go away, I want to see my screen. Seat 3, 0. for 0. Print for seats is open. Okay, and then afterwards you will need an else statement. So if none of the seats are open, we'll print, you can't sit here. And so after we define this function, outside we'll create our seats. Let's say we have 0, 1, 1, 0. So in this case, there's people sitting at seats 2 and 3, but it won't matter because seat 1 is open. So it should say that the first seat is open. Now if we switch this to this, let's say, I'll say that the third seat is open. Like so. All ones. Okay. We have all ones. We have you can't sit here. Yes. So the last one, the bonus, greetings. So write a program that tells you what greeting to use depending on the time of the day. Use a 24-hour clock. There are 3 possible greetings. This will be an if else, and else statement. So part 3. Nope, just kidding. Part 4. Bonus. Yay. Okay, so we're going to define this function. We have time. And time is going to be in hours because we have 24 hours. Now, we have if hour is less than 12 before noon, it will print good morning. Oh, it needs to be equal to. Okay. Hello? Oh, hours. Whoops. We'll call it hour. There we go. Consistency. Now we're gonna do if hour is less than no, greater than 12 if it's after noon, and hour is less than or equal to, less than or equal to, let's say 16, which is around 4 p.m. We will print good afternoon. Oh, these should be, this one should be an else if. Whoops. Okay, this one is going to be an else if because you only have if and else, and then if you have more things that you wanna, more conditionals, you use else if. One more conditional, else if for nighttime. Okay. If it is less than or equal to 16 and hour is less than or equal to 24. What is one? Oh, no, wait. Okay. Print good night. And then we need to end this with an else. else. So if people put in hours like 25, we are going to print. There are, only 24 hours in a day. Silly. So there is that. And then afterwards we give it a time. So time, say we do 2. Print. Going to say good morning. Now if we change it to 13, it is going to say good afternoon. Now if we do 20, it should say good night. And it says good night. And if we change it to 50, it's going to say there are only 24 hours in a day, silly. And so those are all of our activities that we had this week. I hope you had fun doing them as much as I had fun typing them up slowly for you to enjoy. I don't know how to end this video.